How you're being misled on the tax code. This is just one example of many, many, many. I had a guy on my Facebook page, smart guy. He posted something that the rich are paying their fair share, and he posted his graph, and I was like, oh, we're doing this again. And he's a right winger. I can't stand when right wingers don't dive deeper. I expect it from the left. Like the left will say, Warren Buffett is paying less tax than his secretary. Oh, it's just so dumb. It's stupid. But I mean, I expect that from the left. But I don't expect it from the right. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, because the right, they have such an animosity towards taxation that anything they can say to make it look like we need to lower taxes, especially on the wealthy. I don't get. Look, I used to be there. I said a million times. I'll never forget in 2005 or something like that. Ben Stein, Ferris Bueller, that guy, pretty right wing, guy out there. He was saying we need to raise taxes on the wealthy. I said because we need to fund the war in Iraq. I said, man, you crazy? Wealthy already pay their fair share. And look, I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. I 100% did. And this is why you're falling for it hook, line, and sinker too, because you're missing the big picture, which is what I'm here to say. And if you're on my side of the political spectrum, you should be a deeper thinker than this, my friends. All of you guys. Well, if they raise tax on the wealthy, they're going to raise tax on us. Dude, I'm telling you. Okay, you can think that. I find this crazy. When all the big heavy hitters are all leftist. Yeah, I get Elon Musk. Everyone else, have you ever not looked at the foundation? All these guys, they're all leftist heavy hitters. I don't understand why you say we don't want to raise tax on the wealthy because it'll come down to me next. Melinda Gates, that chick who married Steve Jobs, all these people are left-wing lunatics. Why would you not want to use the power of the tax code to punish your political enemies like the left does? It's crazy to me, but they can't. They're just has such an antithesis or animosity towards taxes. They can't see the forest for the trees. All right. So I'm looking at this chart right here, which I love. The summary of the latest federal income tax data 2023 update, but it's only going to be for 2022. And what you'll see here is the average income tax rate for the people in the bottom 50% is 3.1%. The average income tax rate for the top 1% is 26%. As such, the rich pay their fair share. It just proves it right there. Like, yeah, okay, the rich pay their fair share. Now, what you'll see here, what I always kind of find is interesting, is that if we actually look going back in time, the actually AGI as a share of income, total income for the bottom 50% went from 14% all the way down to 10%. Whereas the AGI for the top 1% went from 17.4 to 22%. Remember, the top 1% also includes the top 0.01. All right, so the income has gone, the share of income has gone down for the bottom significantly, actually. And then, even though their tax rates have also, right here, the tax rates are 3.1 versus 26. But this is just the federal income tax data. Income is missing the biggest part of the puzzle. You got to see this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over to right here. So we're going to take the top 0.01%. We're going to compare to the bottom 50%. The top 0.01% of taxpayers, there's 157,000 of them. And they made in 2020 $1.4 trillion. $1.4 trillion. The bottom 50%, of which there are 500,000 million of them, they made 1.26 trillion. So immediately the 157,000 made more in income than the 778 million. All right. Now you say, well, what was the tax that those people paid? Well, let's just go to this. The average income from top 157,000 was $9 million. Their average tax they paid was $2 million. All right. So you can see we take 98. Oh, let's see. That's a 26% effective tax rate. So of their income they made, they paid 26% of income taxes. All right, the $9 million, they paid 26%. The average income for the 778 million bottom 50% taxpayers was $16,000, and they paid $510 in taxes. All right, so you can see that. So significantly lower. In fact, the top 0.01% made 550 times more than the bottom 50%. And the top 0.01% paid 4,710 times more than the bottom 50%. And that's where the story will end for most people who don't follow this through, which drives me crazy because you're watching this channel. You should be deeper thinker than this. And I'm just saying that facetiously. I don't care if you're deeper thinking this, but if you're watching my channel, hopefully you will be. You're like, that's interesting. So look, the rich pay their fair share. All right, but what does that not include? That doesn't include the FICA tax, in particular 6.2% to whom? For Social Security. But we're going to use FICA as a whole, 7.65%. Why? Because we know about $160,000 of this income is subject to FICA. Everything else above that is not subject to FICA, or at least Social Security, the 6.2. We know that for a fact. It's not subject to OASDI. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, but we still know that bottom 50% still got to pay 7.65 to OASDI and HI. That's Medicare Part A. So we're going to say we took $1.276 trillion of income. Wait, did I do that right? Yeah. And we're going to times that by 7.65% to get a gauge of what our total taxes would be when you factor in FICA. I know this isn't perfect, but you'll get the gist. All right, so our total taxes, when you factor in the FICA tax, is $97 billion. Which is doubling what we paid in just income tax. Income tax, the bottom 50% only paid $40 billion. When you factor in FICA, they paid $97 billion more, which is a total amount of $137 billion that they paid in taxes. Right? So of their $1.276 trillion, they paid 10% in taxes. Now that might seem low, but it's a hell of a lot different now than what it was. Before is 3% in total taxes on the 1.276 trillion of income versus 26% for the rich people. Now it's 11% versus basically 27%. All right. So basically the rich people, the ultra rich, as a percentage of total income pays just a little bit more than twice what the bottom 50% pays for. When you factor in total taxes, and you have to factor, effective tax rate is total tax. Your total tax divided by your total income, that's your effective tax rate. All right, so enough of this. Oh, the rich already paid their fair share. No, dude. No. Republicans should be in the business of saying, because we know who these rich people are. I'm telling you, they're not freaking populist. They're just not. We should say we should tax a little bit more of that right here. And there's a million different ways to do this. And we should say we should tax it to fund and shore up Social Security. Anyway, that's the tricks they play with the tax code that many of you fall for. Don't fall for it. Warren Buffett pays less than his freaking secretary. It's stupid. No, he doesn't. And then you can say, well, the rich already paid more than their fair share. Look, that's just income tax, FICA tax. FICA, whenever I write a check, pay my estimated taxes, guess what? That is money I don't have to spend. I don't have to spend. It's not there anymore. It's going over there. I don't have that money to consume. I don't have that money to spend. I don't have that money to save. Oh, but you're going to get it back. Oh, are you going to get it back? How many people actually get their FICAs back? Oh, and by the way, when you work more than 35 years, you lose all that money anyway. Yeah. All right. Hope your thoughts. God bless. Don't forget to smash that like button. We'll see you.